It's like your life, but on TV.
Well, it's fall, and that means colder temperatures, raking leaves, and gusting winds.
Many of us may be wondering during this windy season, where does our wind come from? Well, our weatherman Joseph Kirchhoff has that explanation.
Wind has many important uses. Wind farms for renewable energy, recreational uses for sailing, and transportation of seeds to new places. What would nature be without it? Well, in order for us to understand how this material moving mass works, we must first take a look at the differentiating in atmospheric temperatures and Earth's rotation. In order for us to understand how Earth's rotation has an effect on the wind, we must first understand the different levels in Earth's atmosphere. Lowest to the surface of our rocky planet is the troposphere. This is where most of our weather takes place. Next up is the stratosphere. Only a very small amount of our clouds form at this height. And the last two have very little to do with Earth's weather. They are the mesosphere and the ionosphere. One main cause for wind is Earth's rotation. Imagine if the troposphere, or the air, were to stand completely still as the Earth rotated around its axis. Fortunately, most of the troposphere follows Earth's rotation, so it's not quite as windy as it would be if the air stood completely still. A second influence on Earth's wind is atmospheric temperature. Have you ever walked into a supermarket in the middle of dead winter and feel a warm brush of air on your face as you walk through the doorway? The reason you feel this is because the inside warmth wants to escape into the cold outdoors and even the temperatures. We all know warm air rises. This is why you feel the warm rush of air on your face first. We also know that cold air sinks. This is why you feel a cold blast of air at your feet as you walk out of the supermarket. As long as the door remains open, there is a constant flow of air between the cold outdoors and the warm inside. Earth's atmosphere functions in the same way. As the sunbeams heat one side of the Earth, temperatures rise. The part of the Earth that faces away from the sun cools. We can also see a temperature change due to the angle of the sunlight hitting the Earth. Visualize two beams of light hitting the Earth, one at the equator and one near the North Pole. The beam at the equator is going to be much more concentrated than the beam near the North Pole because of the Earth's circular shape. Thus, it makes the equator warmer. Temperatures may change slightly as a result of the cloud cover and your location near bodies of water. The hot air rises into the atmosphere, moves out towards cold air masses, and makes room for cold air to come in and take its place, thus creating wind. Another thing to consider. During a thunderstorm, air is lifted and sunk much more rapidly in a storm cell than it normally would in Earth's atmosphere. This is why we get much stronger winds during thunderstorms. So now you know how Earth's rotation and atmospheric temperature changes are the main causes in determining Earth's wind. For Titan TV News, Channel 66, I'm Joseph Kirchhoff.
Thanks for that, Joseph. Joseph will be back next week with another weather lesson. Coming up after the break, Kylie Hodges is here to talk to us about the AT Telethon.
Titan 66 News will be right back.